Hi everybody, Courtney Harvey here with you today, talking to you about raising readers and keeping the interest and spark and passion for reading alive. I'd like to share with you this book, the Read Aloud Handbook by Jim Trelease. This is so much more than a book about reading aloud. This book to me is so much more about statistics, about how my kids can do better in school by being read to, the importance of reading aloud to your kids 20 minutes a day, and the impact that that has on a family's life. This is all stuff that I've learned from the book, and I'm so excited to be sharing with you these tips. I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite ones from the book. So I'd like to jump right in. My favorite tip from the book was all about advertising. We're, as consumers, we're filled with advertising in our lives from every direction, it seems. Whether we're out shopping or whether we're home reading a magazine or watching TV, we're being advertised to. Why shouldn't we advertise to our children the importance of books and reading? As you can see behind me, there are version of rain gutter shelves. They're not exactly rain gutters, but they're the same idea. Showing kids the front of a book, the cover, kind of gives them a different angle of the book rather than the binding. And I know for my kids, I have two boys, 2 and 4. The 2-year-old cannot read yet, so he can see the cover that he wants, and it gives him kind of a sense of, not kind of, it gives him a sense of confidence to be able to go get the book that he wants and give it to me to read. So that's one way to advertise. Face your books forward. If you don't have rain gutter bookshelves, that's totally fine. On their little table or on their breakfast table or wherever they eat, you can display some new books. If you have a fireplace, put some books up on the mantle. Wherever they can see the books displayed, chances are they'll go up and look at the cover and ask you to read it to them. Another thing that we do at my house, and a lot of people do, is put books in bins every possible place that they can. Next to the TV is a super important one because that serves as a reminder of kids, or as a reminder to adults probably more, that there's more to offer kids when they're bored than just TV. It also kind of advertises to us that it shouldn't be a competition. There's a bin of books that have so many things that could open up your kids' imaginations. Why turn the TV on when you can have entertainment right with the books? So in my house, we keep books in the bathroom, in the playroom, the breakfast table. When I was having trouble fitting in reading aloud because we were always on the go, I put the bin where we eat so that even during breakfast and lunch, if I can fit 2 or 3 stories into my boys while they're eating, that's 10-20 minutes right there. So I'm halfway to my 20-minute goal of reading aloud per day. Mine is a little more because I am home with my boys all day, but I know that when there's limited time, it's sometimes hard to even get the 20 minutes in. But try your best, because the impact that that could have on your kids' lives and the impact and statistics that show that it does change kids' lives and make really strong family connections to read aloud is huge. So advertising is my first and probably the most important thing that I took away from the book. The next tip, and one of my favorites, is to model reading as parents and babysitters, as grandparents, anybody who's with our kids for a lot of the day. Is the most important thing you can do is model reading. How can we expect to raise readers and kids that are interested in reading if we're not interested in reading? It kind of makes sense. I get it. That if you read aloud to your kid, that's you reading to them. But what about chapter books? What about challenging readers to want to get to where their parents are at? If they see us reading Harry Potter or Gone Girl or the latest thriller, they're going to want to earn that right to be able to read that. That's going to give them something to work for. It's a conversation that I have with my husband because we're in a house with 2 boys. And although I like to think my boys look up to me for everything because I'm their mom, things that they're interested in mostly come from my husband. He's their hero. So reading aloud to them is kind of my expertise and what I love to do for them. But modeling reading, I leave up to my husband. I read plenty, but my kids don't see it. We could both be sitting on the couch. I could be on my phone or my tablet, and my husband could be reading, and they will read. If I'm reading a book and my husband's on his phone, my kids won't read. So you kind of have to model reading, and I'm very confident that I do it, but you have to see what they're interested in, and the parent that they kind of gravitate to for their behavior, that's the parent that's going to be really important to model reading. And I'm not trying to give my husband all the clout with behavior, but it's definitely something that's been caught on in our house. So modeling reading, very important. The last and final tip that I'm going to share with you today is about book ownership. I'm a huge and firm believer in going to the library and checking out books. It's a wonderful way to get your hands on new material and have your kids read a lot of new titles. But also, it's extremely important for kids to have their own books. I will never ever stop taking my kids to the library, but I also want to stress the importance of having their own home library. The amount of research and statistic work that has been done to show the correlation and the importance of printed material in houses of kids that do better in school is mind-blowing. If you just Google book ownership for children, the amount of articles and research that will be pulled up, it's really phenomenal to see. It's just a fact. The more printed material you have in your home for your kids, the better they will do in school. So I did want to stress the importance of book ownership and to have wonderful content in those books. Something they can get their hands on and turn the pages to is so important for them. So I so hope you enjoyed these reading tips. Again, it's just a few from this wonderful book. I hope you can get your hands on a copy through the library, through your local bookstore, or Amazon for a really good price. It is an excellent resource for every parent or teacher. So thank you so much for watching. Happy reading to you.